Okay, well, I'm back, and I'm gonna be working on this. Okay, well, I've let this dry now for quite a while. We're pretty solid on everything here, so I'm gonna actually jump into doing some corals down here. When I was gone, there are a couple of cool things that have happened here. That like I said, sometimes I let it just kind of tell me what it's gonna be. Um, And we're going to end up with a couple of jellyfish up here at the top, some of the smaller ones. That's just the way it's turned out and what it's telling me to do. Right now, I'm going to jump into some corals that I'm going to do here with the brush. So here we go. Okay, and there's not going to probably be a lot of talking on this, so because I like to just paint at this point. There's a lot, a lot of my painting is actually some is a form of therapy. I can kind of lose myself in it. I don't know if you can see it. Bring this here. I do have my palette. I got some whites. Got a variety of different pinks and darks. A couple of darker things to go with the pinks. I'm gonna just jump right in over here, and I'm gonna put in some pink corals. So I'm gonna take a couple colors together on my brush. I'm just gonna go right into this area here. And we're just gonna put some lines of different colored pinks in here to make this coral. Put a little bit of white up in here. There's really no rule to how we do this. I mean, these corals are just kind of, I'm terrible with the names of the different corals. I should know them by now, but I really don't spend much time learning those kind of things. I spend more time when I'm in the water just enjoying it. And when I'm painting, I just kind of spend more time enjoying it as well. I need some white up in here. This white, we're going to go over this white a couple different ways. I'm going to get this in here. And you see I'm rolling my brush as I come up in here and I want to get a little bit more dark, so I'm going to bring this purple in, but it's not going to stay that. That's just a base to start with, because now I'm going to take this pink here and go up into it, and I'm going to roll that around with that purple. It's going to give us a couple of different colors there. I'm going to go back in here and second. If you notice, I didn't put much paint down there of any one thing, because the way I do it, instead of mixing my colors and putting them on, I kind of mix as I go. Not kind of, I totally mix as I go. And here I got two different colors on there plus some white. And then I just kind of roll it around. And you might notice I am covering almost all of this solid blue here that we used as a border to keep the paint, which it worked very good. I did that to keep the paint from running off the page. But the reason I don't put out too much paint at any given time is because the way I do this, I pretty much destroy it. Because I don't clean my brush. All these pinks and purples, along with the white, is all just kind of going to blend together. And so as I do this, the paints on the palette, um, I hate to say, they don't get polluted. They change the color. Uh, they don't stay true to the color that they are. Now this is a foreground kind of thing. We got some background stuff here that I'm going to go back into. But this is pretty much a foreground. I'm going to use this little bit of this weird black. It's a kind of a metallic black. And we're just going to kind of end this stuff up in here with that. A little less colorful. Rolling it around on this, making it gray as well as a little bit of pink there. Like I said, it's and just kind of blend it on the page itself, and bring a little more white into this. Just little touches of it here and there. And like I said earlier, there's no real rule to this. This doesn't have to be an exact coral. Now, I mean, a lot of it. Oh, what kind of coral is that? Don't know. Like I said, I don't spend a lot of time on it, and it's certainly not going to be accurate 100% to anything. I'm not looking at. Oh, well, there we go. That's not good. There's no exact to this. It can be anything you want it to be. I'm using, what stuff that I've seen, obviously. But, there's so many things down when you go under the water. You can just make about just about anything, because there's stuff. Every time I go back in the water, I see something I haven't seen before. So I don't think there's too many things you could do that would be like, oh, what's that? That doesn't look like anything. Yeah, well, you haven't dove enough. Okay, I want a big thickness here. And a lot of what I do, I also like to not just blend it in, but come above it. I use thickness. I use depth to it, a 3D kind of idea to it. And a little more of this dark here. Come up here with blacks. This is really your own little underwater world that you're making here. Of course, this one's my own little underwater world. Not yours. If you were painting it, you could do whatever you want, but since I'm painting it, I'm doing whatever I want. I'm not going to go much further down there with color. So I'm going to tie this in to another color when I work a little bit further on that. There we go. A little bit of that there. And I wasn't really happy with that. Okay, so here we're gonna take this little bit. Don't know if you, I went at this last night and I added some color to it and some alcohol to it to get the basic idea that I wanted for this coral here. Now I'm putting some more of this color here. Use a lot of finger stuff too, you'll see. And I do tend to spit on it. And don't go, oh, that's gross, because actually it's the enzymes in the spit. I don't use a lot. But the enzymes in it is what helps to pull something that maybe I don't want as much on there and blend what I do want to blend. This, I want to get rid of some of that. All right, I like that. I like the way that happened. So indeed, if someone wanted to see, why does my light keep doing this? It's really pissing me off here. Must just be something about this whole place. Okay, then we're gonna come in here with this. I'm just tying this together a little bit here. Got some good stuff going on there. I'm really liking. I didn't like that though. There we go. All right, I'm gonna put some of this back here. The cool thing about doing corals, like I said, you can pretty much do what you want because there's so many different corals out there that all look many different ways that there's very little thing, almost nothing you can do that won't represent a coral. That's one of the things I really like to do is get into a bunch of different little pockets of color. Bring in a few darks in here and there. Which kind of helps it make everything else look natural and pop. And a little more of this dark purple here. Right there. Up into there. Okay. Take a little bit of this here. That was almost too much. But by doing so, I'm going to take that here. And spread that down here. That's just going to give this some depth right here. A little character. Dots there, that's going to look good. And also I'm bringing a little bit of something more over here with this whites. Whites are good, but they're only good when they're accented with some darks around them. Tiny little bit of yellow here. See how that works. And yeah, this is my watered down yellows and my more solid thick bodied paints on over here palette. And the cool thing is about the difference in thicknesses. This thick body really helps me to build. And the others thinned out helps things to just blend. So I don't. No, that was good. That's what I wanted to do. All right. Now, it did do exactly what I wanted it to do, which is nice. It's always nice when actually, if you do have a plan for it to actually work out. That's kind of a cool thing. Okay, so this, come down here, we're going to put this pretty thick on here. We're going to make a nice thick line. Then into that. Once again, you see me rolling it. That helps me to be able to spread color when I have more than one color on my brush. All right, that's coming along nicely. I think I'll use a little black on that. And along this line here, we have a pretty sharp edge. That's what we got right there. Got a sharp edge on my coral. And one more up here. There it is. Gives a nice little sharp edge on that. I like that so much, I might just go ahead and carry on up here a little bit. Okay, I do like that. Yeah, I am going to clean the brush. Now I say that, but I'm not really going to actually. I'm going to come over here and get rid of it right here. I don't know if you can see that. I think I got it to where you can see that. And I'm going to stay dark here. I'm going to call this dark purple up in here. Okay. And let's see, what else do I want to use over here? I'm not sure what I want to use there yet, so we're going to just kind of let that settle. That's going to just kind of sink into being what it is. Um, Come up here and okay. Mm-hmm. And just a little bit more dark right here. And now I am going to clean off my brush. Or maybe I'll just go with, yeah, I'm going to just go with this brush here. And it's got some water on it, which is what I want. I want to take these colors, but I want to blend them in a watery way. Not unlike what we were doing on the rest of it, just instead of starting with such stuff. There's a bunch of water. I got the paint there, and then I'm just kind of taking my wet brush, watering it now. And once again, there is really no set plan to this, or should there be? Now, if you remember, I put a bunch of thick stuff right there. And that is the reason why. So then I can come back to my thick paint there and utilize it to move it around. All right, pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and go with a little bit more pink right there, but I'm running out of pink, so we're getting down there on use of that. Another reason I only use so much of one color at a time is coral reefs are full of color. So once I use this up, I'll go to a different color altogether. Again, we're going to get a little more darks in here. A little bit more depth in a couple of spots here. Okay. We're going to go along this and get a little more depth in here. Okay, that is what I wanted that to do. Bring some more of these darker purples. And here's we're just going to tie this all together. All right, there we go. That's coming together nicely. That's really kind of doing what I wanted to do. And I'm going to come through here. This coral's over here. I'm just going to add some bits of white around it, which is going to represent the roughness of the coral. Pretty much got the color of the coral I wanted. I have no texture on this coral. So that's what we're doing right now. Adding texture. So this looks like the coral's a little bit rough, a little bit jagged. All right, that one turned out all right. So we're going to do the same thing all the way along the face of this coral. That way you get a really, yesterday when I was doing this, I put a lot of color with alcohol, which dilutes out and gives a nice softness to it. And then after that softness is exactly the way I want it, I can choose to come in here now and put in texture. Make it the color soft, but the texture is kind of rough. Taking a little bit of the purple to this white area to give it the same effect, a little bit more rough, give it a little bit of texture. I don't want to go too crazy with it because I still want to have some of that white coming through. So, kind of like that. For those of you who haven't dove or snorkeled before, I highly encourage you to do it if you can. And You don't even have to go out that far. There's places you can just go, even right off the shore. I mean, heck, in Key West itself, you can go there at Fort Zack Beach, and if you just swim out to those little rock barriers out there at the beach, anyone who's been there knows what I'm talking about. You can swim out there with just a snorkel and a mask, pair of fins. Very safe. You don't see a lot of sharks. No, that you don't see a lot of sharks, and even when you do see sharks, much of the time they're sharks, and they're more scared of you than you are of them, and they don't really hurt you. You can actually swim with them. I've swam with them before. Tried to keep up with them. Of course, they outswam me. No, you can't keep up with a shark. But if you go out there and look at some of the rocks out there, and look close, I mean, some of the coolest corals I've ever seen are just tiny, tiny, tiny. And you'll get there and you'll go out and look, and if you get down close, you see all kinds of really cool stuff. I mean, your big coral formations are neat, yeah, I love those too, but it's amazing some of the detail and cool, intricate stuff you see that is just tiny. But I guess that's what you should expect, since a coral polyp is very tiny, and even though they may end up making these huge reefs and all kinds of cool structure, they're really just a bunch of tiny little animals. Okay, so we're getting about where I want it to be for now. I might do a little bit. There we go. Let me roll this around here and get some fan going on here. That's what I'm after there. All right. Okay, I'm going to bring the camera over so we can see a little bit this better. Well, here's the corals we've made here. I'm going to come back and do some reds there. Here's our corals over here that we got going on. I got some really cool stuff going here. You got a lot of different texture and color. That's what corals are all about. You know, what I was telling you, how sometimes it will tell you what it wants to be. If you remember, I dropped 3 good drops of the white with alcohol when we were getting all this area up here to dry. They've told me they want to be jellyfish. So there's going to be 3 jellyfish right there. And then we'll come back and after this is dry, so that I'm not leaning across this, messing up my wet paint. And I will show you exactly how I do a jellyfish. All right, so for now, we're going to call it an evening. Let this dry, and I'll come back at it in the morning.